Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for your patience. Sorry we had a few technical difficulties there, but thanks for sticking with us. Good afternoon. I know you're probably expecting to see Dr. Taylor here, but you know what? They say if you squint your eyes really tightly like this and maybe turn your head to the left a little, we favor. Do you agree? No, not so much. Okay, well, listen, I'm Cynthia Gundy. I'm a professor in the School of Communication. I also teach business and professional communication. I've taught public address as well, but now I'm strictly business and professional communication. I'm so excited to be here with you today. Today, we're going to just exchange and impart to you some valuable information that you'll need going forward as we conclude this semester. Okay, stick with us, and we'll begin very shortly talking about registration, about commencement that's coming up, and of course the Thanksgiving holidays that are approaching fastly. If you received a flyer from us, all the agenda items are listed at the bottom of that flyer. Okay. So let's go ahead and get started this afternoon. Um, we'll begin with registration for the spring 2022 semester. Okay, so for many of you, you probably already know, but if not, I want you to know the registration begins November 17th. November 17th. As a matter of fact, that's tomorrow. So make sure that you check with your advisors and be sure to get in there and begin your registration for the spring semester. Okay. Take a moment and do that, guys. Make sure you can get in the courses that you need. Okay. So be sure to go and knock on your advisor's door and sit with them for a minute and see to make sure that you are exactly where you need to be for this spring semester. Okay. Okay, great. Um, the next thing that's on our agenda item is going to be course evaluations. Yep, course evaluations. This is an opportunity for you scholars to give some feedback about your courses you've been enrolled in during this fall semester. You know, take a moment and fill that out. They're open right now, the course evaluations are, and you have until November the 18th to get those in, which is Thursday of this week, guys. Okay. So don't dawdle. Take a moment, give some feedback, discuss how your courses went for you, how you enjoyed the class, and what a great job your professors did. Okay. And any information that you think would be valuable for that professor and for that course for the next semester. Okay. So take a second and get that done, guys. All right. The next thing that's on our agenda is something near and dear to my heart: Thanksgiving. So, as you know, the Thanksgiving break is coming. Uh, we will be out on the 25th and the 26th of November. Okay, November the 25th and November the 26th. That is Thanksgiving Day and the day after Thanksgiving, not the Wednesday, the Thursday. Okay, so Thursday and Friday, okay, we'll be out. So make your plans accordingly. And we will return from Thanksgiving, guys, on that Monday, the 29th of November. Okay, so make sure you're back on campus, in class, ready to go on the 29th of November. All right, excellent. And bring home some of those goodies back to the dorm. Spread the love with some folks who weren't able to get out and get home for the holiday, okay? So that's Thanksgiving. The next thing that we have on our agenda, guys, is commencement. Commencement, graduation. Um, it will be held December the 11th, 2021. And if we have any scholars right now who will be graduating on December the 11th, put your name in the chat so we can rah-rah you and congratulate you on your accomplishment. It's a big deal. And I know because I also am a graduate of Texas Southern University. Did my undergraduate degree there, here rather, and also my graduate degree. You see, I stayed where I was favored, you know? So, yeah, I finished my undergraduate and graduate degrees here. So, what a wonderful time now, commencement. So, please mark your calendars, guys. Those of you who are not quite there yet, come out and support your cohorts, your fellow classmates. December the 11th, all right? It's a big deal. And what a wonderful time to see all those proud families walk up that ramp at HP&E Arena. You know, it's a glorious time. So I'm excited about it. I'm definitely going to be there in the front row. Great accomplishment, guys. So put your name in the chat if you're going to be walking. If you'll be receiving your degree December the 11th. All right. And boy, you make us Tiger proud. All right. The next thing that's on our agenda, folks, it's going to be Comm Week, Communication Week. It's a big deal for our school, for the School of Communication. It's a big deal. I want you to mark your calendars, guys. Put this on there, March 21st through the 25th, 2022. Oh, it's going down. Okay, so make sure you guys spread the word and stay tuned in. Okay, stay tuned in. And if you look below, you'll see all the information on how to find more information online about Comm Week. Okay, so we expect to see all of our Comm Studies folks there during that time and really involved during Comm Week. All right. Now, today we have also included a really special agenda item because for you today, we have a guest speaker. All right. We have a guest speaker by the name of Staffon Garrett. Now, before we get to Mr. Garrett, I'd like to see if there are any questions about anything that we've discussed, be it Comm Week, be it registration, anything around the holidays that are upcoming, anything that you have, commencement, anything you have a question about, please let us know. I don't see anything yet from the chat. So, join the conversation, of course. If you have anything you'd like to say, we'll be here for Q&A a little bit later after Mr. Garrett imparts us with this wonderful information he has for us today. Okay, so please feel free to enter any questions you have in the chat, and we'll get them answered for you today. With that being said, I'd like to go ahead and begin with our wonderful guest speaker we have today, Staffon Garrett. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Mr. Garrett. Mr. Garrett is a graduate of the School of Communication. He graduated in Comm Studies a few years back before it was called Comm Studies. Back then, we used to call it speech communication. So, as a Black man majoring in speech communication or Comm Studies, he's going to come in today and give you some wonderful insight into what it's like to have that Comm degree, being out here in the careers, in various careers. What careers are available to you in Comm Studies, he'll hit on. And more importantly, what you can do with that degree. And just give you some valuable insight on what it's like out here using that degree. Now, Mr. Garrett is a graduate, like I said, of Texas Southern, and he's also an educator. He's been in education now for over 20 years. So please, if you have any questions around that, please start listening carefully and formulating those questions. Okay. So I see Mr. Garrett is with us now, and it's such an honor to have him with us. He's a wonderful member of Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated, and like I said, a graduate of the SOC in Comm Studies. And so, please help me to welcome our esteemed guest, Mr. Staffon Garrett.
Thank you so much. And on behalf of the students and Texas Southern University as a whole, I'm just truly, truly grateful. I'm just honored. I'm just humbled for this opportunity just to come before you and just share with you a few things. Man, I'm just so excited. Thank you for having me on today. And I'm just going to be short. I won't be long. I won't take up much time, but I titled it pretty much what TSU has done for America through speech and history. So I'm going to take you down that road. And one of the hardest things there is to do is to get started in anything. It's the beginning. And when I was chosen to do this, I was having a very difficult time just getting started. So I know that you guys out there, you're getting started in your new endeavors in life, and sometimes things can be confusing. I know when I had first got to Texas Southern, I couldn't decide upon a major. I didn't know which direction I was going, But what I wanted to tell you guys, man, is I'm going to start at the beginning. And when I say the beginning, I mean the absolute beginning. Listen very carefully. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And I think we can all agree that it was good, or we would not be here. And then God created man and woman. And I think we can all agree that it was good. And at that point, communications began. But now let me just tell you real quick. Communication sometimes can be bad. And the world was corrupt, similar to the world that we live in. And so a great flood came. And it was similar to a pandemic that we're experiencing today, because we're living in a corrupt world. But that's when you guys come in. You guys are going to turn this thing around, and you're going to make the world a better place. Now, listen to me very carefully. In 1492, America was discovered. And I think we can all agree that it was a good thing, because if not, we wouldn't be here. Now, this is not so good. In 1519, which was 27 years later, in August of 1519, a slave trade began. And what happened was 14.1 million Black people were sent to America. But during that process, which is known as the Middle Passage, many perished. They were either thrown over the ship, they were either they got sick, or they may have even committed suicide. But fortunately, many of us who are the offspring of those ancestors, we made it. We really made it. Thank you so much. Now listen to this. Once we got to America, and this is when Texas Southern is going to began to come into the fold. We still had some problems. 14.1 million Black people were murdered once we got to the shores of America. It is what it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. Okay? TSU was already being formed at that time. Another 14.1 million were raped. It is what it is. TSU was already been formed. Another 14.1 million were beaten or worked to death. Once slavery was over, another 14.1 million were stuffed in slums, in crowded conditions, poverty, and crime-ridden neighborhoods. I, ladies and gentlemen, am a product of that community. 40 years ago, I was sitting in the same seat that you're sitting in. It was my second day at TSU. We were in Hannah Hall Auditorium, and the president at that time, Dr. Granville T. Sawyer, met with us. And this is what he said. First of all, it was very loud. It was very rowdy. You had people from Miami, Chicago, New York, Houston, Atlanta, Dallas, and they were all representing their sets. And it was very loud. He walked on the stage and he noticed chaos and confusion. Let me show you how speech communication is powerful. He didn't say a word. He walked to the podium. He looked right. It got a little bit quieter than what it was. Then he looked left. It got a little bit more quieter. Then he looked straight ahead. You could not hear a pin drop. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the power of nonverbal communications. Now listen to this. This is what he said. If you think that you came to this university, Texas Southern University, to get a great job, to get a big house, to drive nice cars, to have lots of money, lots of women, or whatever you got going on in your head, you are at the wrong school. He said, I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings. And I don't mean to hurt anybody's feelings now. He said, U of H is 5 minutes down the street. But at this university right here, Texas Southern University, you have two purposes of being here. One, to become a better human being. And two, to make the world a better place. Ladies and gentlemen, students, we have options. But I would encourage you to hold on to those same values that were displayed at Texas Southern more than 40 years ago. Now, check this out. On March the 3rd of 1947, there was a black man named Herman Marion who wanted to become a better human being. And he wanted to make the world a better place. And he was denied entrance into the University of Texas Law School because of the color of his skin. Now, I want all my speech majors. I want all my history majors. I want all my sociology majors, business majors, whatever your major is. Pay attention to this, because this is something that you need to know and remember. Established by the 50th Texas Legislature under the provisions of Senate Bill 140, Texas Southern University was born in historic Third Ward. TSU is the largest and most comprehensive HBCU with over 10,000 students. Texas Southern, for the past 40 years, have had the top speech department as well as debate team in the United States. Michael Strahan, speech. Barbara Jordan, speech, political science. Megan Thee Stallion, speech. Yolanda Adams, speech. Matthew Knowles, speech. Mickey Leland, Al Green, Jennifer Holliday, Rodney Ellis, State Representative Sylvia Garcia, Senator Frononia Thompson are all TSU graduates. Now, ladies and gentlemen, my objective here today is not to be perfect. I am a flawed individual and far from it. My objective here is not to be grammatically correct. There's going to be a time when I will split a verb. I am only human. And I'm certainly not going to try to be politically or socially correct. And my objective here is not to be a great speaker today. I will not fake or shake when I do this broadcast. I will not try to be hip, slick, or cool. I won't be shallow. I won't be hoax. I won't be a replica. I will not counterfeit you. I will not fraud you, because there are too many people in this world that me and you have to live with that do this every single day. So today, I pledge to you that I will be honest. I will be open-minded. I will be real. I will be actual. I will be bona fide. I will be true. And I will do the best that I can to help you succeed. Texas Southern University instilled in me some core values that you just don't get in the classroom, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking about values such as pride, honor, value, integrity, humility. In short, do the next right thing, even if it doesn't feel good. Do the next right thing, even if no one is looking, because speech and communications is the root of everything. And everything begins with speech. It doesn't matter if you're an art major, business, criminal justice, education, psychology, science, engineering, radio, theater, English, math, science. Your degree of success, your measure of success will depend and will be measured by how well you do in your speech classes. But you know why? Because speech majors lift heavy hearts in dark places and in dark times. Speech majors give the human race hope. They give the human race faith. They give the human race courage in despair. They give honor to the dead. They give courage to the weary because of the three styles and three components of speech. You know, the style, which is the beauty of the speaker, and the speech and the words as they flow out of your mouth, the substance that inspire values and ideals, and then the impact that persuades hearts and minds for decades to come. You know, Jesus Christ did the Sermon on the Mount. What a great speaker he was, of course. Martin Luther King, we all know about him. I have a dream. Frederick Douglass, what to the slave is the 4th of July? And John F. Kennedy, the decision to go to the moon. Houston, we have a problem. You know what the problems that we have with communications? The problem is hate and racism. Hate and racism shuts down the communication process. And it stems from our differences and inability to accept each other as who we are. It breaks down the ability to be an effective speech communicator. And as a result, 170 million men died during the Civil War because of the inability to effectively and accept people for who they are and talk out our differences. See how important speech is? During World War I, 300 million people lost their lives because of ineffective speech communication among leaders. The same thing is true for World War II. People lost their lives because we can't come together and effectively communicate. And of course, I can go on and on. The Korean War, the Vietnam War, the war in Iran, the war in Iraq, all stems from lack of communications. So I hope what you're hearing today is the importance of effective and positive speech communication, because right here in America, and in Houston, Texas included, the murder rate has reached unacceptable levels because of our inability to speak and convey our messages, which will quell conflict and calm down. It has basically become non-existent. Our Democratic and our Republican parties, they put on the most shameful display because of the lack of speech. I'm not talking about them. It is what it is. I told you at the beginning, I was going to be honest. I told you I was going to be thorough from the very start. And I mean, the result of that was the tragic January the 6th insurrection. Ladies and gentlemen, students, in closing, I leave you with this. You have an opportunity to do something great. You have an opportunity to turn this thing around. You know, I would like personally to thank God for Texas Southern University. You know, through Texas Southern University, broken communities are being put back together each and every day, one student, one graduate at a time. Because Herman Marion, remember, he wanted to be a better person and a what? Make the world a better place. There are many speech majors who are from broken communities. I am one of them. In Chicago, 1 in 4 people have an opportunity, and it's not an opportunity, it's really a setback, to be a victim of major crimes. And then, of course, we got Cleveland, Ohio, we got New York City, DC, New Orleans, Atlanta, Miami, Dallas, Los Angeles. Many of these residents have all found their way to the great state of Texas, to Texas Southern and Houston's 3rd Ward, H-Town, Houston Strong, to become better human beings and to make the world a better place through Texas Southern University. Now, before I leave you, in this digital age, it's real easy to forget how to appropriately communicate because everyone has an opinion, but technology makes us lazy. It separates us, but it's best. It is the best major that any of us could ever have is speech communication because it prepares us for the rough spots in our life. Do not let negative emails, negative social media, negative vibes on Facebook affect your speech communication skills. Because what it's going to do, it's going to make you get out of your character. Be careful of criticism of other people and allow them to be who they are. And I leave you with this. Never let your ego get in the way of being an effective communicator. Texas Southern University, thank you so much for having me on today. Thank you. I love you. Have a great day.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Garrett. We
You're welcome.
really appreciate your insight. And hey, that was a heck of an inspiring speech. Thank you. And
You're
for
welcome.
those of you who have not declared a major, come on over to Comm Studies. We'd love to have you. So thank you, Mr. Garrett.
Thank you so much.
Very
God bless you.
inspirational. Thank you.
Thank
God bless you
God
too.
bless you.
All right. All right. So, scholars, at this time, Mr. Garrett is open to a question and answer period. So, if you do have any questions, please put them in the chat. I'm sure he'll be glad to answer any questions you have. Okay. So, I'll give you a second to go ahead and formulate those
Thank
questions and
you.
get them in if you have any. Anything come up yet? Nah. Thank you so much from Miss Campbell. Can you see that, Mr. Garrett?
Thank you. Yes, I can. And I'm so
Absolutely.
grateful and I'm so thankful.
Great.
I'm
Thank
grateful to
you.
be here.
Thank you, Ms. Campbell. Thank you. And we want to see more. We want to do more of this. And so we want to bring in more guest speakers for you guys. So please, any comments you have, any suggestions, please feel free to put it in the chat. Okay. All right. If there are no other questions, comments, suggestions, I guess we can wrap this meeting up a little bit early. I want you to tune in for our next Comm Studies meeting. Hopefully, it'll be sometime in January. I don't know about December. December is such a busy month. So, more than likely, it'll be sometime in January. So, listen and look out for any messages, notices to get you guys on board for the next meeting. Okay. We're really glad you tuned in with us today. And thank you so much for joining in. For those of you who are not Comm Study majors, hope you got something from this. And we'll see you in January. Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
I think we might have one or two more folks came into.